Hello readers, I'm back with another journal spread and 15 thoughts about Out of Character by Jenna Miller. Today is my stop on the Hear Our Voices tour, and I'd like to thank them and the author for this opportunity. I'm withholding my review in support of the HarperCollins union strike, and will include links in my description where you can buy this book from the Union Bookstore. It released today, February 7th. So the first doodle I have here is of Tuddles, the ginger cat, who is a bit of an escape artist, and I have 4 cats, and 2 of them are very similar. One of them has kind of gotten comfortable living at home, but the other one just started deciding, I don't know, they want to hang out outside. She doesn't run too far, thankfully, so we can grab her and bring her back inside. But sometimes cats are just like that. I want to say that they normally find their way back home, but they still kind of stress us out when they've disappeared. I had a cat that disappeared for like 2 weeks after we had a fire, and I really believed I was never going to see him again, but I'm so glad that I did. We love you, Tuddles! The next doodle is a donut that was shared amongst friends. Do you have a snack that you like to share with your friends? For me and my husband, we like to share peanut butter cups. It's always nice to share a snack with someone you love. And the next doodle that I'm coloring in here is a gift. Cassidy celebrates a birthday in the story, and she does receive gifts from people. And I remember thinking how thoughtful they were. Like, we can all hope to get such thoughtful gifts when we celebrate different special occasions. It was pretty cool to see. I've drawn a diploma here to represent the fact that Cassidy has graduated high school and how big of an accomplishment that is. I remember feeling like my life was just about to begin after I graduated high school. The love interest in this story works at a coffee shop, which made me think about the fact that my brother worked for Starbucks at one point, and he told me of all the jobs he's ever had, that one was actually his favorite. I think he loved talking to people that came in and remembering their orders, and it was just a great experience for him. I feel like I've seen a ton of TV shows and movies where someone was handed down pearls from either their mother or their grandmother, and I gotta say, I'm kind of jealous. Cassidy prepared something called tot dish in this story, so here I am coloring in a tater tot, and I think it was a bit of a family recipe, and it sounded delicious. I would love to try it. I've drawn a laptop here to symbolize Cassidy's connection to her online role-playing friends, and I can totally relate to how much closer she felt to them. She didn't have to pretend to be someone else. She didn't hide things from them. It was just a very genuine, authentic, and close connection that she had with her online friends, and I understand that she had difficulty sharing that part of herself with some of the people that she saw in her everyday life face to face, like her parents and her girlfriend and her best friend. It was just a relatable struggle. Next, we have Link from The Legend of Zelda, and I just thought it was really funny how it was mentioned in the story that a lot of people just kept calling Link Zelda. It's a funny pop culture reference, and I think it still happens, but perhaps Breath of the Wild being on the Switch might have introduced Zelda to a newer generation of gamers. That being said, it's less likely that it's gamers actually calling Link by the wrong name. Anyway, he was mentioned in the story because someone dressed up as him for the Halloween party. I wish I could say that I've played all of the Legend of Zelda games, but that unfortunately is not the case. However, growing up, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, was definitely a favorite of mine. I tried to go back and play it again recently, and listen, that game is freaking hard. And it doesn't have like tutorials like the games nowadays. But my second favorite would be Ocarina of Time. And I'm sad to report I have not played Breath of the Wild yet. So I lived in Chicago for 9 months at one point, and I have never seen the metal bean. And I am just realizing now that that's because when I lived there, it didn't exist yet. So I'm going to have to go back to check it out. I've drawn 2 houses here side by side because Cass's best friend Tate lives directly next door to her, and like, how awesome is that to have your BFF like directly next door to you, where you can like send messages through your windows that like face each other or whatever the case is. That just seemed like such a cool TV show movie thing, but also sounds like lots of fun. This next drawing is a report card with lots of failing grades, and man, there can be so much shame attached to failing classes. This next drawing is of a book series because Cass's role-playing revolves around the Tide Wars book series, and I love that. We see it all the time, just a book series bringing people together, having them establish like instant friendships because you're obsessed with the same series. For the Halloween party, someone else ended up dressing up as Ursula, and I feel like this costume had a pretty big role in the story overall. I mean, like, Ursula is just an awesome character and an incredible villain, and growing up, The Little Mermaid was like one of my favorite Disney movies. The music in it was awesome. I mean, the music in all Disney movies is awesome, but again, she was just such a great character. Her songs specifically were awesome. She's just such a fun character to dress up as and so recognizable. Whenever I think of Ursula costumes, I think of Colton Haynes, because his costume was quite a transformation. If you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend you look it up, because he is completely unrecognizable. But he did such a great job, and he had lots of fun dressing up as Ursula, because who wouldn't? And my final drawing is of a car, and I'm just thinking about my first car, which I actually miss a lot. It was a Suzuki Ario, and I had that car for 11 years, and I eventually traded her in. We called her Susie. We named her Susie. And I cried. I remember crying when I traded her in, and I had her for 11 years. That's a long time. And I haven't gotten that attached to any other car that I've owned, but it's probably very likely because I haven't owned any other car for that long. I learned to drive pretty late in life, but I completely understand how a car can like just symbolize freedom to teenagers. So that's it. Those are my 15 thoughts on Out of Character by Jenna Miller, which is a young adult contemporary LGBTQIA plus romance with body positivity that explores the complexity of online and offline relationships and also the hesitation involved in sharing an authentic and geeky version of yourself. It's now available, so I hope you'll check it out. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.